Good afternoon. My name is Guillermo Barquero, and I am one of the developers on the BIM Virtual Assistant. And today I'm going to be presenting to you the application from the point of view of a user who's already logged in and authenticated. My partner has already done the video showing how you register and log in, so I'll be proceeding from there. So as you can see, I'm already logged in. This is my email account, which I've registered on. We're on the home page. So now that I'm authenticated, I have access to the viewer. On the viewer, now that I am authenticated, it is taking my client ID and my client secret on my Autodesk Forge account, and it is finding all of the buckets that I have created. So here, I have access to all the files that I've uploaded, and I'll click on one just to show you. So on click, the viewer will download the file, translate it into SVF format, and meanwhile the translation is occurring, it'll be pulling out all of the properties of that file. So on the left we have the 3D viewer. On the 3D viewer you're able to play around with the model, explode, you can pan, zoom in, you can go into first person mode, and you can control the actor. You can also go full screen mode, and there's a bunch of little toys provided by Autodesk Forge which you can use to play with the models here. On the right hand side on the top here we have the 2D viewer, and on the 2D viewer allows you to see all of the floor plans. Floor plans that are included with the proper file type. So right now we only have it supporting RVT files, which stands for Rivet. Rivet files may or may not contain 2D files, but the viewer is smart enough to know if it does contain those files, it will pull them and show them for you. So you can switch between the files. You can also play with the viewer here as well. Go full screen. Over here we have all of the property hierarchy, which when you click on it, it will highlight it on the viewer, on the ones that you have clicked, and all of the children. You can then go and unclick the children if you prefer to not have those viewed on the display. If I click on any of these properties, so the hierarchy, sorry, you'll see on the right hand side, if you give it a minute, sometimes the Rivet files are a little slow, you'll see the properties pop up. So if I click for this one, I have a list of all of the properties here. For the analytical properties, for example, for this floor, we can see the absorbance rate, the heat transfer coefficient, roughness, and so on and so forth. And you can see all of the individual properties under each category on this tree. The final feature for the user that they can use, some of the other features that I forgot to mention is you can refresh the tree in case we make any changes. You can right click on the tree, upload a file. I can pick, I won't use a Rivet file in this example because they do take a little long to translate. So let me get an IFC file. I can take this IFC file, and actually I already have that file in that bucket, so let me find another bucket. This one will do. I can go down here, pick the IFC file. The IFC file will then be loaded in. It is not translated. There we go, translation complete. And now you have access to the file. This is an IFC file and does not support 2D files, so there are no floor plans, and the viewer is smart enough to know this, it will show you. Right here you have a status bar. The status bar will show you what the situation is on the properties, the hierarchy. This right here is the hierarchy. And once it has retrieved, it'll return green. Another feature that we have here is we can delete buckets. So I will delete one of these test buckets to show you. It'll let you know, bucket deleted. We also have the ability to delete objects. So if I right click on the object, I can delete object, object deleted, and it is then removed. The viewer doesn't update automatically, so what you can do is click on some other model, and then the model's gone. The final thing that the user can do is the How Can I Help button. This is going to be the main focus of the next iteration. So the How I Can Help button pulls up a dialog flow iframe. The dialog flow is a backend created by another team that you will be working with. They're working with Dialogflow in order to store user queries, and we are currently using a Firebase NoSQL database to store all of these files informations. So the information is sent to the Firebase database, they will extract it from the Firebase database, and Dialogflow is used for natural language processing. So it will take those properties on predetermined queries that they write on the objects in order to find useful information on the object for the user. So for example, which I think is much more helpful than just words. Hi BIM. Oh, I'd read that wrong. Let's try that again. Hello BIM. Help me. How many windows do you have? Well, there you go. So this one currently is statically programmed to work only on this RVT model. So it does know a little bit of information about the roofs, the windows, the doors, and some of the dimensions. The next iteration has to be programmed more dynamically. It wasn't part of our scope. We weren't able to achieve it, but for the next iteration, you guys should be able to use the NoSQL database, maybe come up with a better solution, but the one that we came up with is when we click on a model, the model is taking the data, the properties data, and it is storing it on our NoSQL server. Then the natural language processing team will pull the data from our NoSQL server and will use it in order to answer our queries on the model. And we do that using Geo IDs, which are specific codes, global identifiers for each property that makes them unique. So you have to come up with a much more robust way of identifying these Geo IDs from a user's perspective without actually interacting with the Geo ID itself, because the Geo IDs don't mean much to the user. Anyways, this is my demonstration for the user's point of view once they use our application. We will continue to make some videos describing what we missed, what we need to implement, and anything else that can be helpful to you for the next iteration of the project. Thank you very much.